Stevia. For many people, the word conjures images of green leaves, natural sweetness, and a healthier alternative to sugar. Over the last decade, stevia has rapidly gained popularity, finding its way into everything from diet sodas and energy drinks to protein bars, tabletop sweeteners, and even toothpaste. It's become a go-to choice for the health-conscious, the diabetic, and anyone seeking to cut back on sugar without sacrificing sweetness. But what exactly is stevia? Where does it come from? How is it made? And most importantly, is it as innocent as it seems? To understand stevia, we must look first to nature. The stevia plant, formerly known as Stevia rebaudiana, is native to parts of South America, particularly Paraguay and Brazil. For centuries, indigenous peoples in these regions have used the leaves of the plant to sweeten teas and medicines, and as a general sweet treat. The plant itself is a small, leafy shrub, bearing simple green leaves that are the source of its sweetness. What makes stevia remarkable is the presence of compounds called steviol glycosides, most notably stevioside and rebaudioside A. These molecules are many times sweeter than sucrose, the sugar most of us know. In fact, some steviol glycosides are up to 300 times sweeter than table sugar. Yet they contain virtually no calories and have little to no effect on blood glucose levels, making them appealing for diabetics and those watching their weight. But how does a humble South American plant travel from the forests of Paraguay to the shelves of supermarkets around the world? The journey begins with harvesting the leaves, which are then dried and steeped in water. This process draws out the sweet compounds. The extract is then filtered, purified, and sometimes further processed to isolate specific glycosides. The final product can be a greenish powder, a white crystalline substance, or a liquid, depending on the level of purification and the intended use. It's important to distinguish between whole leaf stevia, crude stevia extracts, and highly refined stevia sweeteners. Whole leaf stevia and crude extracts contain a mixture of different steviol glycosides, as well as other plant materials. These are closer to what indigenous people have historically used. However, most of the stevia products in commercial foods and beverages are highly refined, containing almost pure rebaudioside A or stevioside. This purification process ensures a cleaner, less bitter taste. But it also means that what you find in your diet soda is far removed from the original plant. Stevia's rise in popularity is largely due to the growing health concerns around sugar consumption. Excess sugar intake is linked to obesity, type 2 diabetes, heart disease, and other health problems. As a result, consumers are seeking alternatives that deliver sweetness without the metabolic baggage. Artificial sweeteners, like aspartame and sucralose, have been around for decades, but they come with their own baggage, concerns about safety, aftertaste, and whether artificial is inherently bad for you. Stevia's appeal lies in its natural label, but is natural always better? And is stevia really as innocent as it seems? Let's begin with safety. The World Health Organization, the United States Food and Drug Administration, FDA, and the European Food Safety Authority have all reviewed the scientific literature on steviol glycosides. After extensive study, they have concluded that purified steviol glycosides are generally recognized as safe, GRAS, when consumed within established limits. The acceptable daily intake, as set by the joint FAO-WHO Expert Committee on Food Additives, is 4 milligrams per kilogram of body weight per day, expressed as steviol equivalents. For most people, this is a generous allowance, far more than they would typically consume in a day. Clinical trials in humans, as well as animal studies, have not demonstrated significant toxic effects, carcinogenicity, or reproductive harm at reasonable consumption levels. In fact, some research even suggests that stevia may have beneficial effects on blood pressure and glucose tolerance, though the evidence is not yet robust enough to make definitive health claims. However, not all forms of stevia are equally regulated. While purified steviol glycosides enjoy widespread approval, whole leaf stevia and crude extracts have not been approved for use as sweeteners in some countries, including the United States. This is due to insufficient safety data and concerns about potential contaminants or adverse effects from other compounds present in the crude plant material. Taste is another area where stevia's innocence comes into question. While the promise of sweetness without calories is alluring, stevia has a distinctive aftertaste that some people find unpleasant. This is especially true of less refined extracts, which can have a bitter or licorice-like note. Food scientists work hard to mask or minimize these flavors, often by blending stevia with other sweeteners, both natural and artificial. This means that the stevia in your drink may be only one component of a complex sweetener blend. The manufacturing process itself also raises questions for some consumers. Although stevia is natural in the sense that it is derived from a plant, the process to produce the highly purified steviol glycosides found in most products is anything but simple. Large-scale extraction uses solvents, filtration, crystallization, and sometimes even fermentation with genetically modified microorganisms to produce the desired compounds. To some, this industrial process undermines the claim of naturalness. This does not necessarily make stevia unsafe, but it is a reminder that the term natural is not always as straightforward as it appears. Another consideration is the impact of stevia on gut health. Some studies have raised concerns about the effect of non-nutritive sweeteners on the gut microbiome, the complex community of bacteria that inhabit our digestive tract. While research on stevia is still limited, early findings suggest that, at typical consumption levels, it does not have a significant negative impact. However, as with all food additives, more research is needed to fully understand the long-term consequences of regular use. For those with allergies or sensitivities, stevia appears to be well tolerated. Allergic reactions are rare, and steviol glycosides are not proteins, so they are unlikely to provoke an immune response. That said, people with allergies to plants in the Asteraceae family, which includes ragweed, daisies, and sunflowers, might exercise caution, as stevia is a member of this botanical group. Environmental and economic factors also play a role. Stevia cultivation is less resource-intensive than sugarcane or sugar beet farming, requiring less water and land. This makes it an attractive crop in regions where water scarcity is a concern. However, as demand for stevia grows, so does the potential for monoculture farming, loss of biodiversity, and social impacts on local communities. As always, the shift from small-scale traditional use to global commodity brings both opportunities and challenges. One question that often arises is whether stevia is suitable for children, pregnant women, or people with chronic illnesses. Regulatory agencies generally agree that stevia is safe for all population groups when consumed within recommended limits. However, as with any food additive, moderation is key. For infants and very young children, it is generally best to avoid unnecessary exposure to sweeteners, as early taste preferences can shape dietary habits later in life. For people with diabetes, stevia offers a way to enjoy sweetness without raising blood sugar. Clinical studies have shown that stevia does not increase blood glucose or insulin levels, making it a valuable tool for managing carbohydrate intake. However, the psychological effects of consuming sweet-tasting foods, even those without calories, are still being studied. Some research suggests that non-nutritive sweeteners may increase cravings for sweet foods or affect appetite regulation, though the evidence is mixed. So, is stevia as innocent as it seems? Like many things in nutrition and health, the answer is nuanced. Stevia is a remarkable plant that offers a powerful non-caloric sweetness derived from nature. The purified compounds have been shown to be safe for most people, and they provide a valuable alternative to sugar and artificial sweeteners. However, the natural label can be misleading. The stevia in your soda is the product of sophisticated processing, and not all products are created equal. Taste, individual tolerance, and broader dietary patterns all matter. Stevia is neither a miracle cure nor a hidden danger. It is one tool among many for managing sweetness in the modern diet. As with all things, moderation, variety, and a critical eye toward marketing claims will serve you well. Ultimately, the story of Stevia is a reflection of our broader search for health, balance, and satisfaction in what we eat. It reminds us that nature offers powerful solutions, but also that science and careful consideration are essential in turning those solutions into safe and enjoyable parts of our lives. Whether you choose to embrace stevia, avoid it, or simply enjoy it from time to time, being informed is the sweetest ingredient of all.